Due to the obscene and ridiculous nature of this podcast, listener discretion is strongly advised.
I hate having to eat well-rounded, balanced meals. I just want to eat slop and muck all the time. I want to eat fried shit for every meal. I wish I could survive by consuming only semen, but it doesn't work. Trust me, I've tried several times. I go to the hospital and get sick. It's just not worth it. Human bodies are stupid and require vitamins, minerals, nutrients, fibers, and bones. It's tough to keep track of all that stuff and make sure you eat enough of it each day so you don't get some old pirate's disease. Eating vegetables and pieces of weird fruit and Brazil nuts is a hassle. I hate it. Luckily, you don't have to pay attention to what you eat anymore thanks to the new Vital Elements Gummy Vitamin Kit. This kit comes with over 30,000 gummy vitamins, and each one is completely packed with all of the nutrients and vitamins and iron and calcium that your body needs to keep functioning. That means that you can eat whatever kind of slime and garbage you want as long as you eat Vital Elements Gummy Vitamins each day. These vitamins are nutritious and thick. I know you can't see me right now, which is a good thing because I'm soaking wet and nude, but I'll describe what these gummy boys look like so you have a better idea of what you're getting yourself into. Each one weighs just over a kilogram. They're about the size of a manhole cover. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is, but they taste so good and feel so good to chew that you'll enjoy every last bite. Each of the 30,000 gummy vitamins in the Vital Elements Gummy Vitamin Kit is a completely different flavor. No two are the same. Also, you have to buy 30,000 of them, so they take up a lot of space and it weighs just over 65,000 pounds. So please be prepared for that when you order. You can't order a smaller amount. I know, it's weird, but I don't make the rules here. Once you taste one of these thick, rubbery discs, you'll be glad you've got so many of them. They're good for you and they're addicting. They contain chemical additives that trigger an addiction response 50 times stronger than sugar and nicotine and cocaine combined. It's incredible. I love these vitamins and you will too.
Secret Society of Fly Tires. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Secret Society of Fly Tigers? What in the fuck is that?
I'm sick of this phony baloney.
The Secret Society of Fly Tires, the Secret Society of Fly Tires podcast, the best podcast about fly tying.
Hey everybody, it's me, Marty, and this is the 44th episode of the Secret Society of Fly Tires podcast, brought to you by our partners at Vital Elements, streaming everywhere that podcasts can be found. Thank you for tuning in. See, I can act like a regular podcast host sometimes. I can introduce myself and the show.
Thanks a lot, you idiot.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
I was really cruising for the first 7 episodes of this new season, and now I feel like I've hit a creative block. I don't know where to go or what to write about anymore. One thing I'm realizing as I procrastinate through the work needed to launch this new season is that I'm never motivated to write when I feel negative. Nothing good comes out. I have to be in a decent mood to be creative and put my fingers on the keyboard and start pounding away. I really lagged on this new batch of episodes, and I appreciate everyone who reached out asking where I've been. I've been right here this whole time, slowly chipping away at Podcast Mountain when I fucking feel like it, alright? I started interviews back in February and did the last one of this bunch in late June. So for the most part, all that work was done and ready for editing a while ago. I guess that means the interviews aren't exactly current anymore, but who really cares? You're listening to this through the internet where nothing is real anymore anyway, and hopefully the content I create with my guests stands the test of time. If they don't, I'll just delete the episodes and pretend like they never happened. On today's show, I'm revisiting an area that I did a previous episode on with a different guest. Joining me today is Rivchen from Lowater Guide Service out of Phoenix. Last time the show went to Arizona, I had Chris Bear from the AZ Fly Shop on to talk about fishing the Metro Canal system in Phoenix. That's way back in Season 1, Episode 10, if you want to check that one out too. From what I understand, Chris guides under Derek as well, so there's a connection between the two episodes outside of the geographic area that we're focusing on. And honestly, I'm not sure how much I'm going to focus on the geographic area this time. We definitely talk about it in the interview, but for this monologue, I'll probably go elsewhere.
I have no idea what I'm doing or where I'm going. And that's okay, partner.
I've already spent a decent amount of time on what is probably the most well-known case of Phoenix area high strangeness in episode 10 too, the infamous Phoenix Lights. Been there, done that. I can't remember if I gave you my opinion on what was seen on that day in UFO history, but 34 episodes later, and without revisiting that previous episode, I'll tell you with all the certainty I can muster that it wasn't a craft from outer space teasing us with mass disclosure. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. In my opinion, any encounter or sighting of nuts and bolts flying saucers is the result of exotic craft or technology piloted by and or built by humans as part of a black budget special access program. Probably mostly through private contractors that can keep their secret work out of the prying eyes of the public more easily. Sometimes these encounters even simulate an abduction experience. A couple long-shot theories that I'll entertain that would still involve most likely human pilots in these craft would be that they're part of some kind of breakaway civilization with advanced or secret technology, maybe even time travelers. The rest of the sightings that are even weirder than your typical flying saucer, like my personal sighting for instance that changed shapes wildly throughout the time it was in my view, are just that, something even weirder and maybe even impossible to explain. There's pretty good evidence or theories that there is a spiritual or even religious element to the most bizarre experiences people report, such as angels or demons, or paranormal in the sense of like ghosts or orbs, for instance. I definitely entertain those theories. If you saw what I briefly saw, you may have the same opinion. Anyways, I got off on a tangent there after mentioning the Phoenix Lights, even after I told you we aren't getting into that today. We already did. I just can't help myself from trying to combat the fear that the media and government try to instill in the public every chance they get about a supposed extraterrestrial threat. Don't buy into the fear, folks. Listen to your pal Lil Corn Pudding, not the reptiles on the news. I've never once lied to you or tried to manipulate you into anything, unlike them.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore.
My rule of thumb is if a UFO story is presented in that context of fear, I don't even give it the time of day. I move right along to the next one. What are these aliens waiting for anyway if they plan to destroy us all with a laser or whatever? If they're waiting for us to commit even more humanitarian atrocities, they're fucking really late. Or their threshold of what it will take for them to intervene is just way off. I'll move on, okay? So, a good friend of the show, Jim Weatherwax, sent me a message on Instagram a while back and said that I should interview Derek Rivchen on the program, and that sounded like a good idea, and it turns out that it was. So I'm glad I did. I had a swell time chatting with him, and he's a straight shooter, as you'll hear in the interview, which I always appreciate.
Oh, nice shooting, Tex.
And thanks Jim for the recommendation, and thanks to Derek for wasting some time with me on Zoom. For me to then sit on the interview for months and months before I let anyone hear it. Well, today is the day. I half blame this no longer functioning video ripping service that I've been using for a lot of my delay this time around. I mean, it's my show, and I control the release schedule, but I can't take all the blame. You all have become accustomed to me inserting movie clips and other content within my episodes, and I like including that stuff to help with the laughs.
Well, I think I'm looking forward to cracking up. I hope I can, totally crack up. So, I haven't, totally cracked up in a long time.
Sadly, YouTube figured out some new way to block digital pirates like myself from stealing the video content uploaded to their social media platform. Fuck you, YouTube. I don't monetize this show. I just guilt my listeners in the hopes that they'll give me their hard-earned money as the result of that guilt, which isn't working, by the way. The service was called Cobalt, and it hasn't worked for months, and nothing else was reliable until I finally was pointed to the Video Download Helper plugin available on the Firefox browser. This is not a paid advertisement, just to be clear. Thanks to my little bro, who is an even more ruthless digital pirate than I am, for cluing me in. I paid for this plugin, by the way, $35. So someone out there got paid for my digital theft this time. Add that to the list of costs that I incur from blessing you all with this stupid shit pile of a show. So, you all owe me at least $35 for the clips, okay? I'll have my accounting team send out invoices to all of you listeners. If you split that $35 up between all 200 of you, you each only need to send me 0.2 of a cent. Thanks in advance for your generous donations.
Thank you!
Have you guys even noticed how much I'm spending on novelty sunglasses for this show? The bills are piling up. Let's make that my only donation guilt trip for this episode. I'm not going to write up a fake list of listeners with made-up amounts of money they donated this time. I'll just be upfront with you that there are real hard costs, rock hard some people might say, that I pay to deliver you this wonderful educational content. So how do I fill up 8 pages of monologue without talking about the bodies of water that Derek and his Lowater guide service take anglers to fish on? Or fly patterns that work in those waters? Or about stories of high strangeness from the local area? I've decided that I'm going to run down my favorite conspiracies with you. Ready? Here they are. The JFK assassination, 9/11 was an inside job, the moon landing was fake, Bigfoot is real, and Hillary Clinton is a lizard. Okay, there's my top 5. Thanks for listening to my monologue. I hope you enjoy my chat with Derek. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. I'm just kidding. Those aren't my favorite conspiracies, you fools. That's rookie stuff, okay? I've been reading about this perceived lunacy for decades now. It was actually kind of tough for me to pick my favorites, if I'm being honest. But I really did make a list, and I'm going to share a general overview of those stories and most likely my very important and well-informed opinions on them. A couple of these involve some human trauma, too, so it may not be right for me to call them my quote-unquote favorites, but these stories interest me greatly, and that's why I picked them. I'll start with the theory that the 7-person crew of the Space Shuttle Challenger did not die in the televised explosion in 1986. The claim is that the shuttle shown on TV was empty, and the crew that were supposed to be on it were put into some type of witness protection program or whatever, and are mostly all still alive today with different professions and slightly different names.
Good morning, Commissioners. Today I come here asking for your help, but first a little backstory. I think we all remember the Challenger explosion that took place in 1986 that tragically took the lives of all 7 astronauts on board. It launched not too far from where we're standing here today. Well, the interesting thing is, a couple decades later, this thing called the internet came about, and someone allegedly found almost all of those astronauts alive and well, many using the same exact names. Now, we all have a doppelganger out there, right? No big deal. But to have the same face, the same age, and the same exact name is extremely rare. So rare I could only find one case in the last 120 years. And we're supposed to believe that 3 people from one spaceflight have exact lookalikes that have the same age and same exact names? This, ladies and gentlemen, is beyond statistically impossible.
Now, I will be the first to admit that this one sounds like tinfoil hat craziness. The explosion was on national television, and a huge percentage of the public were tuned in to watch a humble school teacher join a crew of NASA astronauts in orbiting the Earth, doing some experiment related to Halley's Comet, and inspiring young school children to be future astronauts. Whoever the person was who originally kicked up this theory did basically the same thing as Bart Sibrel, who was infamously punched by Buzz Aldrin on camera after asking Buzz to swear on a Bible that he walked on the moon.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
It doesn't, sir, I don't.
Said you walked on the moon when you didn't. Calling the kettle black if ever thought of it. Saying I
You
misrepresented
get away
myself.
from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
He started traveling around trying to find and confront the allegedly not dead Challenger crew. This other guy wasn't punched, but he was met with some interesting responses in those confrontations. After many recent searches, I can't seem to find the complete footage anymore, but a few clips survive, and I will try to include them all in the show notes. A dude named Justin Harvey has since taken it and run with it to the point that he is now involved in lawsuits related to these claims. But I'm almost 100% certain Justin isn't the originator of this theory. I could be wrong. Anyways, for those that haven't gone down this rabbit hole yet, I'll run through the info those before me have collected. If you do a Google search, your results will be overwhelmed with websites saying this information isn't true. But tell me that some of these aren't at least weird enough to make you think about it. Plus, if all the AI-powered Google searches are overly adamant about this being baloney, it makes me believe even more that there's some truth to this. If NASA and the government faked the moon landing footage, what's one more big lie anyway? Alright, I'm getting off track. The Challenger astronauts were Commander Francis Scobie, pilot Michael J. Smith, 4 mission specialists, Gregory Jarvis, Judith Resnick, Ellison Onizuka, and Ronald McNair, and lastly, S. Krista McAuliffe, the payload specialist who is from the Teacher in Space project. My friend Steve is a payload specialist too. He loves loads and can't get enough of them. This theory presents that Francis Scobie, whose eyes are far apart enough to be noticeable, is actually living as Richard Scobie. A and B, those two, and they look a lot alike. Richard at one point was the CEO of a company called Cows and Trees, who had an animated intro to their website at some point that included a cow with a rocket pack flying through the frame, spitting out a contrail of sorts that kind of looks like the spiralish smoke of the exploding Challenger shuttle, just to make it a little extra weird. Next up is Michael J. Smith. Another Michael J. Smith was found working as a professor at the College of William and Mary that looks a lot like the pilot from the Challenger with the same name, who would also be the same age as the shuttle pilot if he was still alive. Judith Resnick is in the same spot as Michael Smith. This conspiracy sleuth found another Judith Resnick that looks the same and would be the same age as the Judith from the Challenger crew, working as a law professor at Yale. I was able to find a short video of her being confronted about this, and she basically ran away.
Judy? How you doing? I'm from the press. I just had a quick question, if you don't mind.
What press? I'm
from a radio station in San Bernardino. I know there's a conspiracy about the space shuttle. No, I want to be polite. Friendly. Just a question. So there's a lot of rumors about you being on that space shuttle. Obviously, if you want to comment, we would really appreciate it.
And then things kind of fall apart in this theory. It goes on to explain that Ellison Onizuka is now living as his twin brother named Claude. Ronald McNair is living as his brother named Carl. The teacher Krista McAuliffe is supposed to be this lady they found named Sharon McAuliffe, who really only has kind of similar hair, and it's definitely a reach. And lastly, Gregory Jarvis. They didn't even find a doppelganger for him. Please excuse this brief interruption from one of our many sponsors.
You might not know this about me, but I vape constantly. I vape drugs, both legal and illicit, and I vape flavored syrups. I can't get enough vapor in my lungs and mouth. I love vaping. Vaping makes me feel good and strong. Vaping makes me infinite. Vaping makes me feel closer to God. Vital Elements sent me their new vape to try, and it's amazing. Not only does it produce incredible amounts of vaporous clouds inside of my body, they also included a kit where you can make vapable e-juice out of pretty much anything. So I immediately started vaping my own semen. Now I vape my semen all the time. I took a rip off the slime pen just before I hit record for this commercial. I feel my sperm swimming through my lungs, in my blood, in my brain. I also tried vaping a little bit of my own blood and some of my friends' urine, but none of it compares to vaping seminal fluid. I promise you that. Nothing tastes as good or as powerful as my precious cream. I vaped a dying woman's breast milk at midnight and saw and heard things that are well beyond the bounds of human sanity. Nothing can stop me. Nothing can kill me. I am a better man than you will ever be, and it's because I vape my own semen with Vital Elements' new vape pen and e-juice kit. Get yours today and become your own god.
Why would they try to pull something like this off? I don't know. Because NASA is on a constant mission of faking all their space-related shit to keep sucking up tax money is one of the theories. That's compounded with the idea that the goal of inspiring young kids to be future astronauts was actually a plot to traumatize them all at the same time and scare most kids away from wanting to go to space. It's far-fetched, and I know there's a lot of speculation and reaching in this one, but there are a few pieces of it that weird me out enough to keep coming back to it. That Justin Harvey dude believed it enough to stir up enough trouble that he ended up involved in lawsuits about it. There's a book I enjoyed that I may have recommended before called Dark Mission by Coast to Coast alumni Richard Hoagland, and it is an exhaustive, 600 or 700 pages of deep diving into the occult and Masonic rituals that NASA practices related to their shuttle launches, their mission patches, specific dates, and so on.
And Buzz Aldrin did take the Scottish Rite 33 degrees apron with him to the moon. Such garments serve only one purpose, to be worn during a solemn Masonic ceremony. It seems unlikely that a dedicated servant of the craft would take the apron 239,000 miles to the moon unless he's going to use it for a ceremonial purpose.
Is it possible that the Challenger explosion was part of one of these rituals? Maybe this crazy-sounding conspiracy theory is a bunch of nonsense and it's all wrong. I could go either way and consider myself conspiratorially bisexual on this topic. I go both ways depending on my mood, okay? And don't you dare chop those quotes up to make me sound like I'm talking about my real sexuality either, or you will get a visit by the local police after I report you for slander.
Sentence you to 2,500 consecutive life sentences plus 1,000 years. Once you pass away, you will receive an attempted escape charge with an additional 200 years being added to your sentence, which you will begin serving in the afterlife once you get to hell.
That's a perfect segue into the next conspiracy on my list. Hell yeah. And it's not an event this time. It's a person. Maybe the most mysterious person in the world, in my opinion. And he's involved in space shuttle launches that all have supposed ritual protocol attached to them. He even played a role in the Challenger launch, from what I understand. If you read Diana Pasulka's book American Cosmic, which I've brought up many times on this show, you'll know him by the Fight Club pseudonym Tyler. The internet figured out who that person really was, though, and his name is Tim Taylor. Not the Tool Man. Did I already make that joke this season? Anyways, I'll read from one of the very few sources online with any real info on the guy to try and explain who he is. Tim Taylor has had a dual career in space and medicine for over 40 years. He's worked on the Space Shuttle program in Cape Canaveral and continues to serve the Atlas, Delta, and SpaceX programs in launch operations. Mr. Taylor has supported over 40 space shuttle missions and 80 Department of Defense missions as a controller, systems engineer, and field test engineer. As a principal investor, Mr. Taylor flew a biomedical experiment on Space Shuttle Columbia in 1991, and because of the experiment and the resulting recognition, he went on to become the co-founder/vice president of engineering at Endius Inc., a Boston-based surgical device company. Endius, originally known as Austin Taylor Medical Inc., became an early entrant of endoscopic/minimally invasive spine surgery, and has become known as the pioneering company in endoscopic spine surgery. In March 2007, the world's largest orthopedic company, Zimmer, acquired Endius in a private transaction. Before being acquired, Endius was one of the fastest growing spinal device and implant companies in the U.S. After hiring a seasoned CEO, Tim resigned from Endius in 2000 and joined Amendia/Spinal Elements as chairman of the board. He then became chairman of the board of Vivex Biologics, which is where I got this little rundown. Mr. Taylor continues to support Department of Defense launches from Cape Canaveral, as well as advanced biomedical ventures, bridging the gap of aerospace and biomedical technologies. He holds over 40 patents, serves on medical and nonprofit boards, and published the book Launch Fever. I should probably get that book. If you read American Cosmic, you will know that Taylor himself claims he gets a lot of the ideas for his groundbreaking patents through some sort of psychic download, and he believes the ideas are given to him by non-human intelligence. He even has protocol he follows to engage in this otherworldly communication. It's been said that he practices a monastic lifestyle for the most part. Taylor says it starts with a good, consistent sleep schedule of 8 or 9 hours per night. He gets up and drinks a glass of water and sits in the morning light and goes back to bed for another hour. Little to no caffeine intake, no alcohol or drugs. He was actually in Fugazi for a brief period.
Fuck you.
I'm kidding. You're supposed to practice meditation and/or breath work or yoga and find the right environment for yourself. Taylor had a certain room in his home. Setting your intention and tuning your antenna, as they say. Hydration plays a key element also, which gets even cooler if you're familiar with Masaharu Emoto's experiments on how thoughts, emotion, and intention affect water, and how the human body is something like 50% water. Anyways, Taylor is the person in American Cosmic that brings Diana Pasulka and Dr. Gary Nolan to the quote-unquote gifting field, where they pray at a makeshift altar for and find pieces of anomalous material.
Excuse me?
He's also said to have brought that anomalous material to the home of who I believe to be the most interesting current UFO experiencer, Chris Bledsoe, where he performed tests with the Bledsoe family that involved them holding this material and experiencing unusual effects that Taylor seemed very intrigued by. In the book, Chris Bledsoe's response was so intense that he supposedly blacked out at one point, and Taylor asked Chris when he came back to his senses, "Why you?" Pasulka and Taylor visit the Vatican archives at some point in the book, which requires Pasulka to jump through quite a few hoops to gain access to, even as a professor of religious studies at University of North Carolina, Wilmington. But Taylor had no issue gaining access to the archives without advance notice or security clearance. It seemed that once the people at the Vatican realized who he was free to wander. Host of American Alchemy, Jesse Michaels, has said that he's the one person he hasn't been able to secure an interview with. If you listened to Jesse interview Diana Pasulka, they talk about the possibility that Taylor may have been part of not only the UFO Invisible College, but another group said to have been based in the Bahamas that may or may not have figured out time travel, mentioned in the T. Townsend Brown documentary that American Alchemy put out. I think that doc was my end of episode recommendation in episode 37 if you haven't watched it yet.
Tyler was this person who actually reached out to me, and he was part of a secret program. Now they're known not to be secret. And he had clearances and that sort of thing. And he worked for almost every space shuttle launch. Okay, he's a mission controller, and he was a very fascinating person. I kind of kept him at a distance for about 1.5 years before I actually met him in person. I didn't believe in UFOs, and he said, "You only believe in them as kind of like imaginary things." He said, "What if I showed you evidence that?" And so this was where I was like automatically suspicious. I was like, "Wow, this is crazy," but I'll go. Because, it's still evidence, it's still data. Even if it's disinformation, it's still data. So, anyway, so that's who Tyler is. Tyler's this fascinating space program person.
There are many interviews with Pasulka out on the internet where she mentions bits and pieces of interactions with Taylor that I will link to in the stupid show notes if anyone wants to go down the rabbit hole. The Bledsoe family have dropped a few nuggets in their many available interviews and podcast episodes as well. Taylor has told them his code name with NASA was The Dragon, and that he works for The Hammer.
What?
Chris's book, UFO of God, has a couple stories involving Taylor as well.
Is it correct that Tim Taylor briefed Barack Obama about what he'd witnessed at Bledsoe Ranch?
Yes.
So he briefed President Obama?
And I have the napkin from the dinner table that he sat at.
Lots of people online like to claim that the YouTube videos or podcasts that mention Tim Taylor can randomly disappear, or accounts get shadow banned. So this will be a fun little test, I guess. Who am I kidding? I probably shadow banned myself from the whole fishing community with the amount of penis and cum jokes in Season 4. My explanation for why Tim Taylor is so interesting may be kinda all over the place. The links in my show notes will help connect more dots, I suppose, if you have any interest in going deeper. Especially the 2-part Who is Tim Taylor interview with my boy Grant Cameron. Grant doesn't give a shit. He talks about everything he discovers, and he's been digging into the UFO story for decades. To me, he's been the most consistently trustworthy independent researcher by a long shot. I had a few more of my favorite conspiracy theories that I wanted to share in this episode, but those first 2 took up more time than I thought they would. So I will save some for another time when I'm having general writer's block. That weirdness always gets my brain going, no matter what kind of mood I'm in. I should probably spend at least a little bit of time talking about Derek and his Lowater guide service. It's the least I could do after he was cool enough to spend an hour on Zoom with me so I could then create this episode and share it with you all. Let me read a little bit from lowaterguide.com in case you aren't already familiar with Derek and the guide service he runs. Lowater Guide Service, led by expert Phoenix fishing guide Derek Rivchen, offers one-of-a-kind fishing adventures throughout Arizona's diverse waterways. With years of experience fishing the region, Derek has developed an unmatched understanding of local fish behavior, seasonal patterns, and the best fishing locations. His passion for angling extends beyond just catching fish. He's committed to teaching, guiding, and providing an unforgettable experience for anglers of all skill levels. Whether exploring the urban canals for massive carp or fly fishing for trophy largemouth bass, Derek ensures that every trip is both educational and exciting. His knowledge and enthusiasm make him a trusted guide in Phoenix, helping visitors connect with nature and refine their fishing skills. At its core, Lowater Guide Service is about more than just catching fish. It's about building a deeper appreciation for the sport and the environment. Derek's philosophy revolves around responsible fishing practices, conservation, and creating lifelong anglers. He believes that by sharing his passion and knowledge, he can inspire others to respect and enjoy Arizona's fisheries for generations to come. I hope that generations to come enjoy the chat that I had with Derek from Lowater Guides. Here it is.
How's it going?
Nice to meet you, man.
You too. You too. What do you go by?
Little Corn Pudding is my Christian name.
All right, I'm Derek. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, nice to meet you, dude. Thanks for joining me today.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes listeners send me suggestions for people to interview, and friend of the show, Jim Wax, requested you.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I know Jim.
And I'm so glad. I'm so glad you're down to chat, dude.
I wonder how many he's been pushing out, because I keep getting a bunch of podcasters hitting me up to do interviews.
Is he's like your agent?
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him now. Now that because everyone's like, we're getting a lot of requests. I'm like, who is it?
That's too funny, man. That's funny.
Yeah, cool. Because I think I've only done one, really.
Oh, cool. Well,
maybe two, but I think one for sure.
Cool. Well, this won't be this. I promise this will be easy.
No, I was listening to some of them. It doesn't seem.
Oh, you were? Okay, good.
Yeah,
cool.
Out of my category or anything.
Right on. Yeah. Well, I know where you're at, but like just for the sake of it, I like to start with the basics with these. Where are you located, and how'd you end up there?
So we're in Phoenix, Arizona. I ended up here. My mom and dad moved here from. I think my mom came from Illinois. My dad came from Massachusetts, and they met up and had a little family. And I was the baby of the group, and been here ever since. It's getting a little hectic now, but
yeah,
we're here for the meantime. I don't know. I'm sure I'll say in Arizona, but Phoenix is blowing up.
Yeah, I haven't been out there in a bit. I used to go out there every once in a while, and I got an uncle in Casa Grande.
Yeah, a little outside of it.
So there's a good chance that I make my way out there soon.
Cool, we'll be here.
It's been a minute.
Yeah, come see your uncle.
Yeah, I'd love to. Love my uncle dearly.
Yeah, you got it.
Come out there. Well, so I had one of your guys on, Chris Bear, on an earlier episode, and we got to talk, about the canals mostly, which was super cool. I fish a metro river here in Sacramento on the Lower American River.
Cool. Yeah.
It's not like a canal system. It's a river. But still, I think has some parallels just because it runs through the city, But it was really interesting to hear a completely different fishery, one that I didn't know had any sort of, guiding system happening at all. I mean, from an outsider. So it was really cool to meet him, and I'm stoked to talk to you about all you guys do a lot at Lowater Guides, and I'm stoked to kind of get a little bit of all of it from you.
Yeah. I hope I can remember everything that we do. Don't ask me prices, so I'll have to look.
No, it's all good, dude. How did the guide service start? Like, how did you go from being a fly fisherman into doing what you're doing?
So I was fly fishing at the time. I was doing wildland fire in Farmington, New Mexico. And I was like burnt out on it. I was away from home, which was Phoenix, where I think she was my girlfriend at the time, maybe my fiance, but she was here and I was there, so it was like not practical. And I remember driving to Albuquerque one day, and I'm like, man, I should just try guiding, just see what happens. Like nobody does it there, and there was at that time, I don't think anybody was actually doing it. There's been people that like kind of hopped in it and stuff, but I don't think anybody was doing it. And I was like,
when was this? Like what year? Yeah.
Oh geez, this was probably 8 years ago. So it's like.
Still kind of a relatively new scene. in the grand scheme of things. Yeah.
Yeah, and I had been fly fishing then for I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years, I think. And I was like in Montana, I was in Farmington, fishing all that area, and then all of Phoenix. So I had a bunch of experience. All I did was fish because I was away from home, so I was just able to fish all day and get off work, go fish, call my girlfriend. But yeah, so then I finally quit the fire gig and came home and just just tried it. Didn't never had a business plan. Just started like, all right, what do I need to get? Guide license. All right, let's get that. All right, now I need an LLC. All right, now I need insurance. All right, now let's get official as we can. All right, marketing, just everything like on my head. Like so like everybody was like, you need to have a business plan and write things down. I've never wrote anything down except like just what I have to write down.
Yeah, I hear you.
And that's how it's been since, and it's just kind of blossoming into what it is now, and just we have so many people and just trying to push the word of it and get it out there because I feel like a lot of people don't even know that we exist right now. As big as we think we are, I don't think we really are.
Well, I hope I can contribute a tiny bit, dude.
Yeah, that's
and
how it works.
send some folks your way. Yeah,
yeah.
We already said that we were going to talk prices, but there was one thing that seemed to be. I don't know if you advertised it this way, but the most affordable guided trip that you offer is that the canals trip.
Yeah, the canals are, and I've increased prices, and I've only increased that one time, and I've increased everything else like a bunch, just trying to keep because it's so convenient, it's so easy. It feels dirty to charge more than that.
Well, I saw online that the canals had been rated as the #2 best kept secret of Arizona's fishery.
Interesting.
Did you see that? I can't remember where I saw that. I was, researching around for the show.
Interesting.
Why do you think they gave it #2? Well, what do you think is #1?
Was it the loon thing? The loon video?
It might have been a loon thing.
And I think they got beat. I think we got beat out by somebody on the Sacramento River.
No, it was best kept secret of Arizona, though.
Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Fishing wise.
I mean, it's such a cool fishery. It's very slept on. Like even when we're out there right now, and there's locals that are like, "What are you guys doing there?" Like, there's a meme going around of some girl that thinks there's sharks in the canals in Phoenix. It's like, people have sent it to me like 30 times.
Really? What?
Yeah, I just comment on them like, hit us up if you want to catch one.
Yeah, that's good.
But like nobody really knows about it. It's still like, and then people find out and they're so addicted to it. Like we get people that are like my buddy Bill. He's from Colorado and he didn't even know we existed. He's a snowbird. We have a lot of snowbirds. And they want to fish year round. And so they come down here and they're like, oh, we can't fish. And then they find out about the canals and they're like, holy shit,
it
this
seems
is right
super
here.
cool.
Like, and you can fish them like so many different ways. It's mind boggling. It's cool.
Dude, as I was stalking your Instagram prepping for this interview, and Chris Bear popped up in one of the reels talking about a 50-pound fish that I'm assuming was on the canals too.
Yeah.
And I think he was talking about a carp. I'm not sure. What's like the biggest that you guys have got out there on the canals, you think?
That we have gotten, I don't know. I've never really like measured anything or like, especially didn't weigh them because they're freaking giant.
Yeah.
But I know that like the Game and Fish record for longest fish, I want to say it's 62, but it might be 52 inches.
Oh, Jesus.
It's 5 feet, and it weighed a pound for every inch it was. It weighed a pound, and that was a grass carp, it was in a pond, but still. And we've seen them out there, but they're just chilling because they get so big that they're so smart, and they just like, I don't know if they just have like their one meal that they're dialed in on or what, but they like will not budge. Or maybe they feed at night is another theory we've always had.
Yeah, man, carp keep coming up this season in the interviews that I've been doing. I'm kind of like in the middle of putting together the new season of the show, and carp keep coming up. And then, like we have a carp fishery here in Sacramento that I really haven't tapped into at all. I feel like I'm missing out. I'm such like a cold weather steelhead kind of fisherman, and I'm putting a bunch of stuff that I could be doing locally too. Not for I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't think we have carp that get that big here, but who knows?
I mean, and it's not even like They don't need to be that big,
Yeah,
dude. They're fun.
yeah,
Like,
and I'm lying too because I've actually seen, now that I think about it, I have a buddy who lives, it's kind of like I guess it's a gated, somehow
yeah.
gated community that
Oh,
has like some ponds that are,
yeah.
stocked, that were stocked long ago, and he has photos of carp that he's like holding like a, like a giant pig,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but to think you get them out of the metro canals is definitely something that I think most people don't realize happens, and that a walk and wade trip with somebody that can really help you do that is available too, which
Yeah.
is super cool. Well, I guess
Yeah.
it's not a wade trip. You're just
No.
walking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should specify it. But yeah, I mean, it is. And like, yeah, so it's like we do 3 hours. It's super fast. I'll throw dry flies at them. You can swing streamers for them. Like, there's so much you can do for them. And
You sw-
they're
you
like practice
you're
stuff.
swinging streamers for carp on the
Yeah,
canals.
yeah. If
Wow.
it's really ripping in areas, you can definitely swing a
Oh,
streamer through, and
hell
they'll
yes.
mess with it.
Oh man.
Now they're
Yeah.
not as graceful as a trout or a steelhead, but they get up there trying to get it, just swimming after as fast as they can.
Yeah.
And
Um,
they'll make the connection every now and then.
That sounds awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you if you guys swing flies on any of these trips that you guys do, because I mean you do a lot of different things.
yeah, yeah.
Didn't
That one for sure.
didn't
I'm,
expect it to be the canals, the one that you were
I
just
know,
telling me. Yeah.
I know. And I was doing it in Montana a bunch, and I came back here, and I was like, God, so productive up there. You can cover so much water. Let me just try it here because they kind of. I mean, they act like trout in the sense that they hold in the same places that trout will hold in a river.
Hmm.
And so I was just trying the same thing,
Yeah.
and sure as shit, they would come
Cool.
out and chase them. And you're like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be eating leaves and shit.
Yeah. What kind of patterns would you swing for them? Like a
Oh,
clousers and stuff, or what?
I guess you could call it a clouser. I don't even know what you would call it. It's just kind of like some zonker and craft fur.
Yeah.
Kind of maybe the only thing I can think that it resembles are baby bluegills.
Okay.
It's the only thing I can think that they're really chasing after it.
That's cool. What's like? I mean, outside of the fishing, I mean, being in a metro area where the water, where you're fishing water that runs through the city, what's like the most unexpected thing you've ran into while you guys up there?
Pottery. Pottery along the canals in the middle of town. And I've been real big into looking at native runes all
Oh,
around here. And
you're finding like relic.
yeah, like large pieces of like hand-sized pieces of pottery. And I was like,
Whoa.
dude, like because I know like pottery from finding it out where it's supposed to be.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they were all over the area here. All the Hohokam were digging the canals and using irrigation in town to harvest and grow crops, and there's a
Crazy.
lot of it. Yeah, there's a
That's
lot of it
super
around there.
cool. Man,
Yeah, so that's
I
always.
would be pumped to find stuff like that.
And I tried to hide it, and I came back on another trip, and it was gone. So
Oh yeah.
who knows? Yeah.
There's people looking maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, probably like your river. It seems like the waterways or any kind of ways kind of are for transients to kind of
Sure. Yeah.
get around on.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of that on our canals.
Yeah.
Certain areas are worse than others, but
I was expecting some kind of story about that. Not that you're finding pottery, which is cool.
yeah. No, I mean, I've had my catalytic converter stolen on the
Oh,
canal.
geez,
So
Louise. Yeah.
that's about
All right.
it.
Lots of stuff like that happens on our river too. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it happens everywhere.
Yeah, I've never heard that specifically in anybody I know, but I mean, lots of, a smashed window here and there and stuff like
No,
that.
no, none of that. And insurance covered it, so it wasn't that bad at the end of the day.
All right.
But no, I mean, there's crazy people everywhere out there, but it's
Sure.
definitely like you just kind of you go to one side and they go to their side and do their yapping, and you don't engage.
You gotta exercise some street smarts, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. A lot of street smarts. And we get people that are not from Phoenix and they're like, whoa, what in the world?
Yeah.
It's all
Yep.
good.
Yeah, it's kind of part of the program. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it. So, along with the canals, what other bodies of water does your guide service guide on?
Local to Phoenix, the next pushing out would be the bass trips. And I used to do those a lot. And then my buddy Todd, I finally talked him into doing some guide trips because he was having boat problems. So he needed money to fix his boat. I was like, perfect. And he was like fishing every single day. Anyways, he's an old retired guy. And so now he does all those. We have striped bass, we have wipers, we have white bass, we have
White wipers is white and striper hybrid, right? Am I right?
yeah,
Okay.
yep,
Right.
a white bass and those are those opened my eyes in Salt Lake. I fished for those last year with my buddy Jake up there, and those fish are freaking crazy. They're so strong. Ours don't get that big, but man, that was like, I had this whole trip. I don't know. I mean, they probably do, but our lakes are deep, so we're like scratching the surface with our fly rods, and big sink tips are not like the presentations we need down there.
Wiper's also a great band if you aren't familiar.
I don't think I am familiar. Check them out.
Pacific Northwest kind of old punk band.
Is it spelled the same?
Very good. Yeah, just the Wipers.
Cool. I'll have to check them out.
I was gonna ask you, did the striper that you guys catch out there migrate to a river system? Like, what's going on there?
They're landlocked, obviously, but there's the Agua Fria River kind of flows into Lake Pleasant every now and then if we get a good rain or snow. It hasn't flown this year, but when it flows, like they all try running up there, and it's just like it's so much fun. All the fish try running up there, so you just have everything, and the flats are.
What's the difference fighting like a big striper compared to the wiper? Is it noticeable or?
I don't think I've caught a striper as big as a wiper that I caught in Salt Lake, but I don't know. It's something about those wipers. They kind of got that like bluegill plate body to them, so maybe they can just get a little more sideways in there, but they really like dig down way more than a striper does, where a striper's just kind of trying to get away from you, just trying to go down at an angle away from you. But those freaking wipers are crazy. I had a whole trip planned to go to Blackfoot, and we started fishing those wipers, and I just stayed there and then started chasing them around Utah.
Yeah. Do people eat those?
We've eaten them once out of Lake Pleasant, and they were better than the striped bass for sure.
Really?
Yeah, they were much better than the striped bass.
That's cool.
But yeah, we'll drop green lights on them and anchovies in the middle of summer every now and then.
Cool.
And just catch them like that too. It just brings in your whole smorgasbord of all the different species in the lake.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of diverted us there, but what were I know there's a few other places you guys guide on too.
Yeah, all the Tonto National Forest. It has like
cool
7 lakes, I think, and we do a lot of stuff on the flats for carp, for common carp, at all the lakes really, and that's a lot of fun too. We all have I have a little John boat skiff, and then Kyle has a Sabine skiff, and we kind of just chase them like you would. I haven't redfish, but from what I'm told, it's very similar to that style.
Bowling around and stuff.
Yeah, and that's a ton of fun. So all that stuff is like going off right now. The canals are really like year-round fishing.
That's cool.
I mean, Todd's caught bass year-round this year. He's been sending me pictures every week, but now the carp are starting to come up on the flats, and that's my favorite time of year. Really, this is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds like fun, dude.
Yeah.
I was looking at what species you guys guide for too, and I'm good for at least one dumb question per interview minimum. But I noticed also the Apache trout.
Yeah.
I don't know why I've never heard that before, but can you tell me a little bit about that? The Apache trout?
The Apache trouts are one of our native species, along with the Gila trout too. So those are our 2 native species. From everything that I've gathered, they've been pretty wiped out. I don't know if there's any really pure strain of them left. It's very possible there are, but usually we get our wildfires and they kind of like just decimate the creek.
Oh, yeah.
I believe it was one of them were on the endangered species list, and I think they've been taken off of now, but they've been reintroduced through stocking, through New Mexico species that they have of the Gila trout and the Apache. But yeah, they're pretty cool. They're only in Arizona and New Mexico. I think the Apache are only in Arizona though.
That's cool.
I thought I had a poster in here somewhere.
Yeah, super interested in both of those. I'm gonna have to do like with my show, I try to like dig into the weeds a little bit on things that are specific to the area and stuff.
Yeah,
and that's gonna give me some stuff to really dig into.
Yeah. I mean, I went out and caught them all early on, and I know a lot of the places that they were saying were like the last like wild native species. Now they had a fire that went through them and wiped them out. So it's really like if what you believe on, if they're reintroduced.
Yeah.
Well, like if are they truly native, if they've been reintroduced and they're just kind of like holdovers throughout the years.
Mhm.
But yeah, they're cool. They're very cool. They're definitely pretty fish, and it's special to catch them. But
smaller.
yeah, I've caught some bigger ones, but who knows where they came from?
Yeah.
Like I don't know if they were purely wild. I feel
Yeah.
like the really wild native ones are like the real small ones, but
Man, too cool.
yeah, we guide for a little bit for them. But the ones that we're usually guiding are there's stalkers that have been holdovers for a while, so we just kind of call them wild at that point.
Yeah, yeah.
Not really native, but
Too cool, man. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that. I'm gonna have to look up some information, some videos and stuff, and check it out. I haven't had a chance yet.
yeah, yeah. The Apaches, I know they're only over in Apache Sitgraves Forest and kind of like the west side of Arizona.
Okay.
So those are probably the ones that are shared with New Mexico. I think the Gila trout might be those specific ones to Arizona. I could be wrong. Gila, I know the Gila National Forest is in New Mexico.
I initially hit you up with the idea of talking about the Salt River
Yeah.
and fishing for the Sonoran sucker.
Yeah.
Which I remember talking a little bit to Chris about, because he was telling me like, come out here and fish for suckers, and I was like, man, I'm gonna fly out to Arizona and fish for suckers, which sounded wild to me, but
Yeah.
now I'm like super interested, and I totally would. I just haven't made it out there yet.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that program?
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't, not to sound uneducated on all the things, but I'm like I like my canals and I like my bass and the carp in the lake. So that's like when I have my days off, that's what I'm chasing. So,
Yeah.
and then like, so we have Hugo and Ryan who are the trout guides that really like specialize in that area, that know like exactly where to fish, where all those fish are. But yeah, the Salt River, that's another area that I'm like, I don't even want to go near that place because it's like, it's a very touristy, like,
Oh yeah, to get a lot of pressure. Yeah.
it gets a lot of people, not really like fishing pressure, but just like recreation
Sure.
tubers,
Yeah.
tubing and paddle boards and kayaks, and you're like, what the hell am I doing here?
Yeah.
Um,
The raft hatch.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I've definitely have floated it with Ryan one time and watched him hook up on one of those Sonoran suckers on a 10 weight.
Yeah.
I just watched that thing pull him around on the
Dude.
stand up board.
Yeah, we have the Sacramento sucker here
Yeah, yeah.
on the Lower American, and I could say with confidence that I've caught bigger suckers than any other fish on my home river, and like big ones, bigger than like my net, that's
Yeah.
hanging out of my net. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes me wonder like what the pike minnows were back in the day, like before
Yeah.
dams were and stuff, and like you see
Yeah.
those little pictures on stringers with them, and like
Yeah.
what the natives were catching out of those things.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you have any information on this too, but I'd really love to hear about the bird watching tours. Do you have anything to do with those?
Yeah, so I was just taking people out on the flats tours.
Uh-huh.
And so we're like in all these like super skinny water backs of the lake coves, and they just happen to be a huge stopping area for all these migrating birds at the same time of the year.
Yeah.
So like I'm not even like that educated on most of the species. A lot of clients were just kind of like teaching me, and I've been
That's
trying
cool.
to practice at them. Yeah,
Yeah,
because they're like, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I'm an amateur.
Oh, cool.
I don't think I'm a total birder yet, but
Yeah.
I always look for birds when I'm out on trips or if I'm out solo wading or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm actively looking.
And I never was until I started. These clients were coming out and they were like blown away, and they whip out their
Oh, yeah.
huge cameras, like their
Cool.
crazy lenses that all my photographer friends are like, dude, those are yada yada yada. And they're like setting up, taking all these crazy pictures instead of fishing. And I'm just like, a Western grebe? I'm like, dude, those things are everywhere. And they're like,
Oh yeah.
they're blown away by them. And the cormorants, I'm like,
Oh yeah.
we don't
Got
even like
those.
a cormorant, and they're just like blown away because they don't see them in their area. North American pelicans are in here right
Yeah.
now.
They go all the way inland to Arizona, huh? I didn't
Yeah,
realize
and
that.
then
Yeah.
and one guy told me they were on their way up to Montana, and I was like, wow, that's crazy. They're just stopping here.
No idea.
Yeah, a lot of a dark night dark capped night heron.
Yeah,
That sound.
we supposedly have those here too. I have not seen one myself, but
Those
yeah.
are cool. Those are pretty cool. And
Yeah.
they're just a bird that I was like, it's a bird, and they're like, no, that's like a special bird. I'm
Yeah.
like, wow, I
It
don't
is. Yeah. There's the green heron too. I don't know if you guys have those out there, but those are a little smaller. Like you could kind of mistake those for something else when like the other heron's pretty big. You're like, oh yeah, it's a blue heron or whatever.
Oh, okay.
You know, but
Yeah, I know we got blues.
yeah,
What's that? Oh, the sandhill crane was one that I
oh,
was mistaking everything for. I don't know if I've actually seen one, but we have them out here. Supposedly they're the ribeye of the sky.
yeah, I've
Apparently.
heard the same. I'm interested.
Yeah, I would try it.
Yeah, no wonder people are excited to do bird watching trips with you. You guys sound like you have some cool stuff. That's
Nobody's ever booked one, but
what? No,
but
really?
it's there. Yeah, it's there though. I
Nobody's
don't
ever
know.
booked one. That's
I'm not pushing it though. I'm not
yeah,
like advertising it or going to bird watching committees or maybe I
yeah.
should do a birding podcast. Because
You
it's a
should.
thing. It's
Yeah,
a thing
yeah,
for
man.
sure out here. I have friends that are like hardcore into it.
I think you
And
market that to the right demo or right crowd or whatever, and like you're gonna get people coming out with you.
yeah, and I have all the platforms, so I just play them off as photography platforms or
I
something on
mean,
the boat.
it's got to be an easier trip as a guide.
Oh my
You're
God,
not
I
rigging
know.
anything up.
Oh, I know.
You're not losing any flies. You're not
Yeah, it would be
breaking
so
any
cool.
rods. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I take these geologists out to this fault line at one of the reservoirs,
Oh yeah,
and it's like the easiest trips. I'm just like dropping them off and hanging out.
that's a
But
regular trip though.
it's kind of becoming one. It's probably happened, I think, 3 times now, and one's
Cool.
coming up soon in April. And yeah, that's how I'd imagine it would be. No pressure, no
Yeah,
tying flies.
yeah.
Oh man,
have
yeah,
I have a buddy who guides on Lake Tahoe and does some tour stuff on the side too. You know,
yeah,
filling in some days and
yeah. It's not a bad idea.
yeah,
Doing a little toury side, it'd be so easy. All the guys would be like, "Hell yeah, tour, yeah, let's go.
yeah.
Get to show them a bird."
You just mentioned tying. I was going to ask you, you know, if you're an active fly tyer and what have you been tying lately and
Yeah, I tie.
what do you tie a lot of? What's usually on your bench?
So I mainly tie for trips, and then I kind of, if I'm bass fishing, I usually have game changers, but I don't really mess with tying
Oh
game
yeah,
changers. I usually just
me
get them on an
neither.
Orbis sail.
Yeah, I don't. I tried one time and I
Yeah,
haven't done it
yeah,
since.
yeah. I
Yeah,
was like, I ain't even gonna bother. There's some things that are meant to
you
be tied by a little
you fish a lot of those
more
though.
country.
Yeah.
A little bit, not a lot.
Mm.
I fish a lot of, if I had in my grocery bag here with my tying vise and stuff, I
Mhm.
have just a bunch of carp fly stuff. So I
Yeah.
have like mop flies, my dry flies, and my streamer stuff just for like canal stuff. I'll do a lot of like carp ticklers on the lake,
Okay.
but just like dumbed down versions. I'm very like minimalist,
Cool.
simple,
Yeah.
3 ingredients, not including the thread, and just getting them to do what they need to do. I wish I could. I, I mean, I'm not a bad tire, but I wish I could tie some of those crazy like striper flies that like swim with a purpose versus mine that's just like, now you
Yeah.
just put some yarn on there and
Yeah.
make it look cool.
I'm with you, man. Yeah. I mean,
But
you see some beautiful stuff.
yeah,
The game changers especially
exactly.
are
Yeah, like
crazy.
that's a crazy fly.
I'm just trying to get good at clousers, which do the job too.
Yeah,
And I'm trying a new material this week. I got some Congo hair. I don't know if you've ever used that.
it sounds very
It's
familiar.
like a
Who tied
synthetic.
it?
It's kind of like a Farrar blend or something kind of thing. I got it from Fly Tires Dungeon.
Yeah, yeah, yep, out of Montana, right? Yeah, I
And
think I have a whole bin full of fly tires dungeon.
yeah, I love their dubbing and stuff. I order a lot of stuff from them.
Yeah, such a.
Try, yeah, I've
Are
tried to
they?
get the dude on the show, and I've just been ignored. I'm gonna keep trying.
Ah,
Keep trying. I would love to interview the man
I
behind
want.
Fly Tires Dungeon. Yeah.
I feel like they're so slept on. You're the
They're- Dude,
somebody told me about them. You're the first person that's ever mentioned them since that.
it's cheap materials too.
So
Like it's
cheap.
affordable. Like this Congo hair I got, it was like
Yeah.
a dollar a hank sale,
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, I'll try some of this stuff. Like I'll
Yeah.
get 5 colors, and I was trying to tie some clousers with it, which is cool. If you tie striper flies, clousers, and stuff, like it's pretty much like the Farrar bun, a little more coarse, maybe like even a little bit goes a long way.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but it's pretty cool. I like it.
I've never been good at the moderation thing. So my streamers
Me
would always
either.
be like super huge. I'm like, oh, I
I
can't just
know.
like, a little piece. What?
Dude, yeah. You know, I watched a video. I'm trying to pay more attention to that. And I watched Steve Adachi, I think it's a loon video, tie his clouser, and he was very specific about the proportions where he's like, it's like a twist it and make it as tight as you can. And if it's if it's thicker than a pencil lead, it's too much. And like
Yeah.
you know, those are the little details that I'm starting to pay more attention to now after I'm watching all this stuff like on YouTube, which is so easy to like filter out important details when you're just
Yeah.
flipping through videos and stuff. And his are obviously, kind of the benchmark. And so paid close attention. I've been trying. Getting
Well,
a
you
little
just
little
said it.
better. Yeah.
You just said pencil lead, and this whole time I've always thought it was pencil. So maybe that was part of my. I was supposed to do an
Dude,
8, and I'm doing a half.
yeah. Mine are always bushy as heck.
Yeah, I'm like, that ain't gonna fish. I'm not even gonna throw it.
Right. Yeah.
You got to believe in what you're tying.
I'll have to look up more. What was the carp fly that you mentioned?
The carp tickler,
The
Jan's carp
tickler.
tickler, I think it's called. It's just like a dragonfly nymph kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And
I
that's
think
usually like correlates with our carp season. Dragonflies are out. We're good to go.
that's the one that has like a chenille tail kind of sticking out the
Yeah,
back.
and I
Okay.
don't
I
even
do
tie
know
that
it.
on it.
Oh, really?
I haven't figured that. I think I tied one time on it, and
Yeah.
it was such a pain in the ass that I was like, I ain't doing that again.
Well,
Just
yeah.
running without it. Fits the profile.
That's funny, man. Simple is good though, dude. That's why I've been liking tying clousers too, because I tie a lot of steelhead kind of flies, and I've
Yeah.
been geeking out a lot on like kind of more kind of classic wet flies, which are it's like they take a long time, and like you have to concentrate, and there's a bunch of materials and all this nonsense and
Yeah.
stuff. So like just having a couple colors of Congo hair and like a little flash has been cool, and you done in 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
I could try again and see if I
Yeah.
can get it
Yeah.
better,
Yeah. Those clousers are they're just, I look at them and I'm like, how does that work so well? It's just
Yeah.
like compared to a game changer, you're like, what the hell? But
Yeah.
we were just out on the Colorado on Parker, Arizona last weekend, and I was throwing a hot pink one that my buddy Jake gave me for the wipers, and they were chasing them down here too and eating them. So I'm like, so weird.
Yeah, you think sometimes that maybe just like the eyes on the hook with the flash out the back would probably do the same thing, maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're like, yeah, it's just one of those things.
Well,
Or we get a lot of gear guys, and I'll watch them. I'll fish a bank, throw what I got, and then they'll come behind me and throw their little swim bait thing and just catch 2 fish right where I just fished. I'm just like, there's some things we can't compete with or something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, man.
Sometimes it's frustrating, but it's
Yeah.
part of the game, I guess.
Dude, another thing that I saw that I don't think I've ever seen before was that you guys offer online lessons. I'm assuming this is a remnant of the pandemic, maybe?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, and just an idea I had to just try and like be available for everyone. Because we have people that just want to like show support somehow. And I've always felt weird selling like a brand for money, or like if it's gonna have my brand on it, I'd rather just give it to somebody.
Okay.
So like you shouldn't have to pay to represent somebody's brand. But so I was just trying to make something, but one of those trips nobody's ever hit me up for either.
Really? Nobody's
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me and you just might think we have good ideas.
I feel like it's cool. I mean, there's people that don't get out as much.
Yeah.
Right? And
Yeah.
for one reason or another, they found you, and it could work. I don't know. Maybe it just people haven't heard about it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think we have a big reach on like Instagram with people all around the country. So I was like, even like fly tying lessons, like just put the camera up and like, all right, let's do one-on-one
I've done
wherever you're
those.
at in the world.
I've definitely taken a couple of those with tires and learned like specific patterns or like and things like that. And like,
It's just a great idea.
yeah, that's cool. I mean, I think people would pay for that.
Yeah, maybe I need to push these ideas a little more.
Yeah, I was interested. And I saw and the bird watching. I thought it was cool. I think it's something different. Like there's a big menu, which I appreciate of things you do,
Yeah, guiding for fish is hard. It's a lot easier when you can do like casting lessons or bird watching or tying lessons. Like there's no pressure on the guide or anybody.
Well, for someone coming into town for a few days that wants to get like as much kind of angling diversity as possible, like what would you recommend that they hit while they're in town, like on a 3-day weekend or something?
Probably the canals are like, you gotta experience them at least for just a half day, just to go out and see all the fish and like, this is right here, and just to experience that. The Salt River is cool because it has trout, it has bass, it has carp, it has suckers, it has everything. And then we do some trips in Payson that are more for trout trips and just strictly trout. But pretty much in that order. The lake stuff's really cool too, but it's a little more geared towards people that have a good cast and aren't just like trying to learn just for the sake of covering more water and angling knowledge. But I think the canals are really slept on. It might be one of our busiest trips, but a lot of people want to trout fish just because I think they think of fly fishing.
That's what fly fishing is, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like, you should try it. Like, just it's practice. They're great practice fish, and they do the same thing trout do. There's so many more shots at them. I don't know.
Yeah,
I bet
well,
they're
the casting thing you just brought up is a good point. Like I have gone on trips where I remember the first like striper trip I went out with on a guide. I had to I could not I wasn't up to par. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't cast as long as I needed to, and I was learning to double haul on the boat basically, right?
Yeah, it's hard.
And
Heavy
there was a
lines.
bunch of wind, heavy lines and stuff like that. And you know real quick when you're like over your head in that scenario, you're like, oh no shit, what I get myself into.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
so with the canals, you don't really need a long cast.
No, it's more of an accuracy thing, and we have little tips and stuff like just putting your index finger on the rod, and you're only casting out. The canals are really like 30 feet widest, so we're not chasing anything on the far half side of it. So we just stay within like 15 feet. You're kind of like up on them because it's all sight fishing, so you got to watch them eat the fly. They don't really like grab the fly and take off like a bass would.
That's super cool.
Yeah, they come up, they'll kiss it,
Yeah.
they'll miss it, it'll go down the side of your face. And you're like, God damn it,
Oh
guys.
yeah, you see it all happen. That's awesome.
Yeah, and you're just watching everything. So it's not super far cast. We get a lot of people that want to just like salt fish them, and I'm like, dude, we got to keep it close. Got to keep it close.
Huh.
And then even the carp on the lakes, like we're pulling and wet wading within like a fly rod length away from us.
Right up on them. Yeah.
Yeah, drag and dropping it on them and just catching these crazy fish that are way outside of like your wheelhouse of fighting fish. Because now you're actively fighting a fish on the reel and picking up line.
Hell yeah.
So it's they're practice fish is what I call them. When we get like these dudes that do a lot of traveling and angling and like go to the Bahamas and these crazy trips. I'm like, while you're snowbirding down here, just keep fresh on the canals or practice on the boat. We'll just go pull around, even if the fish aren't in the flats in the middle of the winter. We can still practice, and so that's like a big thing. 'Cause we have a lot of money in this area with like Scottsdale and a lot of the fly shops in the past. They've been the Sage Salt. They've been like the #1 sellers in the country. And that's in Arizona because it's just all these rich doctors and that live here are flying down there. And I'm like, we're right here, boys. I know it's a cart, but it's all right. Close your eyes. It's the same thing.
No, who cares, man? They're super cool.
It's good practice.
Yeah, I'm making a concerted effort myself to do more of that when the weather warms up here.
Yeah,
bass and carp and stuff.
Yeah.
There's definitely good local fisheries that I've been completely neglecting, and one like 10 minutes down the road from me that I could totally be doing. So I'm gonna take my kayak out and see what I can do.
Yeah. There's so much to do outside. You can stay inside and tie flies, or you can go fish, I guess.
Dude, your trips though also are, when you think of a guide trip, I think most of us always think of like a all day long or even a half day, but you guys do all different lengths for the canals, yeah?
Yeah, really, we do like a 3 hour and a 6 hour trip for the canals. And the 6 hour trip, we would really split it between like some ponds in town and go fish for like, we got these they're like reclaimed water, kind of like what your buddy lives on. They're just full of koi, carp, fantails, mirrors, all these crazy.
Sweet.
They're just like pets pretty much.
Yeah, that's so rad, man. I love that weird stuff. I'm way down. Yeah.
Yeah, but usually on a half day, it's a lot of walking on the canals. It can be if the fish are spread out. So we don't really want to bore people with it either. And we want people to have a good time. So we're like, what's your level? Like, I know the striped bass sounds fun, but if you can't cast 60 or more feet, it's not going to be fun. So we just try and set people up. It's become like, it's not really just all fly fishermen or women. Now it's like families that are like,
cool.
I want to try fly. That looks fun. Like, I don't know what it is, but I'll try it.
Pull of a big slimy carp, and you're like
Yeah.
all stoked.
And they're like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guy's like, well, I had a 9-year-old kid. Like, what do I do? So it's just like, it's all new. It's not,
Yeah. There's
yeah.
carp out there that weigh as much as that 9-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just pulling them around.
Yeah. Well, dude, I always ask my guests, I end my interviews asking if you've ever had a paranormal or supernatural experience that you'd like to share.
No, Kyle and Nico were telling me this was coming, and I
Oh,
was
really?
like, yeah, I was like, they told me when we were floating to Colorado last weekend, and I
Oh,
was like,
cool.
I couldn't think of anything.
Well, that's okay if you don't have one, man. Nothing weird
Yeah,
though. I'm surprised.
not really. Like you would think I just run on a dead body or something in the canal, but it's been
Most of my guests have a dead body story if they have anything. Yeah.
yeah, it's been close in the lakes. I thought I saw one,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it was just a rock. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's syringes floating down the canals and
Oh, yeah, we got
catfish,
those.
catfish sucking on dead pigeons, but nothing
Ugh.
paranormal.
Yeah.
It's just our version of the GTs eating seagulls, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's got their home waters or what they got to fish. So.
You
We're
guys
just a
don't,
product.
I don't think Bigfoot lives in Arizona either. So I don't
I
have
don't
any,
know.
I don't, you know.
Yeah, up on the rim or something. I've never experienced anything, even out camping,
Hmm.
which is good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Which
I'm
is
not
good.
looking. Yeah, I'm not looking for paranormal.
That's a good way to put it.
If I get weirded out, I'm gonna turn some music on and
Yeah. Dude,
grab a gun.
do you ever get catfish on the fly?
Yeah, yeah. And a couple guys have really targeted them this year in the canals and have caught some big ones. My last one though was in New Mexico, and it was a 10-pounder, and I was throwing a sex dungeon, and it just like, came out of nowhere. I thought it was a giant pike, and
Whoa.
it was just
Yeah.
this. Yeah. Well, speaking of your background, one of the biologists here, Alex, he
Yeah.
said he actually saw an alligator gar
Oh,
in
yeah?
the canals.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have this background. I've been having it, it's been on every interview for the new season, but because the first one I did was with some pals to talk about Gar on an episode I did on Gar. And we don't have them out here. I don't remember seeing Arizona on the list, and there was quite a few states where they existed.
I
But
don't think they belong here. I don't think.
yeah. Well, they say they may be in the waterways here in California too, but it's all pet release stuff,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Same
So
here. Yeah.
yeah. That any of your buddies said he's seen one?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's a biologist from I think he's
Okay.
from Illinois, so he's got to know. I don't know if
Trustworthy
alligators.
source.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Some type of gar. Yeah.
yeah, and I've heard of people catching walleye in the canals. Another biologist stopped me on a trip once. He was riding his bike, and he told me he saw a dead brown trout at the like they have like these big grates, and he said he saw one like caught in there.
Weird.
And I was like, wow,
That's not like a pet.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that could totally run down from the salt and just get in there
Yeah.
somehow.
Weird. Yeah. Who
Yeah, so
knows?
yeah, it's pretty cool.
Huh. Yeah. Well, we don't all have paranormal experiences.
I don't want a paranormal experience.
Yeah.
I try to believe it's not real.
I
mean,
rest.
I would take an alien or something, but I don't
Yeah.
want a ghost or any spiritual stuff.
Man, I say I want him. I would say that I agree with you on that. I feel like my most terrifying childhood memories were like alien movies, like Fire in the Sky and stuff. Like those were the scary ones. I guess because they seemed like more plausible than like some like Freddy Krueger or something. You know what I mean?
I was scared of Twister. Twister really got me.
Twister got you, yeah.
Yeah, well, I was mortified of Twister.
Yeah, that's really real.
And
So,
I was
yeah,
in
I guess.
Arizona. I was in
Yeah.
Arizona though. Like,
Yeah.
you don't get tornadoes.
Oh, you get the dust storm though.
Yeah,
right?
but
Yeah.
when I was growing up, we didn't really have haboobs or anything. That
Yeah.
came later in life, high school.
Hmm.
Have you had paranormal experiences?
No, I wouldn't say paranormal, really. I have told a UFO story. I have seen a UFO.
I haven't even seen that.
I want to say I told it to Chris because we were talking about UFOs. He had a UFO story.
Oh, did he tell you about the Phoenix Lights?
Well, yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, I think he told me about that.
I ended
yeah.
up. That's kind of what I told a little bit about the Phoenix Lights on the episode. If you haven't listened to the one I did with Chris,
I don't think I did.
check it out because I think I tell the story in better detail on that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you experience that one?
Yeah. No, not Phoenix, not the Phoenix Lights.
Oh, okay.
But I had my own.
Okay.
And, you
All right,
know,
I'll check it out.
because Chris told me about his, I blabbed about mine too. To relate, we had to relate.
Yeah.
We had to relate, man.
There's a park called Dreamy Draw Park that I kind of grew up at, where we would ride bikes as kids, and there's like a dam there. It's like a random like dam, and that's where they say that spacecraft crashed, and that they just covered it up right there. But
what space? The Phoenix Lights craft?
yeah, that was where it landed or something from that. But
interesting. I don't think I've heard that. I don't think I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, Dreamy Draw Park.
Some local lore.
Yeah, and like McDowell Mountain there's a military base there, and they had Nazi POWs that they used to hold there back in World War II.
They had a few of those. I know there's one in San Antonio too.
Yeah, so that was one that I was telling all these. There was a story of them escaping, and I was telling all these clients, and I was like, maybe it's not true, so I had to fact check it, but it was. Thumbs up, everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about. Besides the native stuff, that's really like the coolest part I think about the whole area.
Yeah,
you're like,
man.
damn, it's been around.
Too cool, Derek. Well, thank you, man. It's been a pleasure peppering you with all these questions, and I've been anxious to talk to you about this stuff. And you're giving me more reason, not like I needed more, to go visit my uncle, but if I can make it out to fish these canals finally, I'm going to do that too. And would love to meet you. And
yeah, we'll take care of you when you come out.
Cool, man. Yeah,
catch something.
Yeah, I want to find some slimy carp or some sucker fish with you guys.
Some sewer salmon.
Yeah, is that what you guys call them? That's funny.
Good
That's
name
good.
for 'em.
Right on,
Cool.
Derek.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you again. I will be in touch with you. Seriously, Arizona seems to have way more fishing opportunities than I ever realized, even after interviewing Chris Bear in episode 10 about the canal system and picking his brain. I continue learning about more cool things to do out there, even though my body rejects the idea of purposefully going to such a place. But catching some spring training baseball, seeing some family who live out there, and all the different species of fish and waterways is pulling me in. Give me a break, okay? I got arrested out there once on tour with one of my bands, and it was for weed, and it was before weed was legal in most states, and I thought I was going to Tent City. That incident alone has made me avoid the state ever since. Both Derek and his guide Chris have eased my worried and spiteful mind since then, though. They fish the canals, they fish the lakes, they hike into remote rivers for cool wild fish like the little-known Apache trout. They fish the Salt River for suckerfish. They trick the wily carp, and they have both swallowed their pride and agreed to be guests on my show. For that, I will always respect them. I'm going to wrap this edition of Secret Society of Fly Tires, hosted by yours truly, Little Corn Pudding, by recommending you watch writer and comedian Kurt Metzger's new YouTube live show, Derp with Kerp. As of the time I'm writing this, it's still pretty new and has only released 5 or so episodes, but by the time you hear this, I'd bet there's a lot more of them. Unless the government puts a stop to him, man. I was in a lull that happens to me every few years where I can't stomach any more conspiracy content. I've heard it all sounds dumb, blah blah blah. The opposite of being black-pilled, or whatever. I get disillusioned sometimes from hammering my brain with woo-woo theories so often. I actually like the term that I used at the beginning of this episode, that I'm a conspiracy bisexual. Or maybe I'm conspiracy pansexual? I don't think I even know what that one means, but I'm all over the map depending on the day, my mood, and the topic. I'm also very dumb and want to believe all of this weirdness. The idea of living in a world devoid of spirituality of any type, where everything has a scientific explanation and being driven by materialism is lazy and boring to me. Consider really weird things might be true, even if science has no way to prove them, I say. I was already familiar with Kurt's comedy and thought he was pretty funny. I heard him as a guest on the My Family Thinks I'm Crazy podcast, and he got me all stoked up on high strangeness again. He was just approaching things through an intelligent but funny comedic lens and digging super deep. Sometimes so deep and weird he references things I've never heard of, which is exactly what I crave. A group of beings said to live inside Mount Shasta, but not the Lemurians, called the Slough, that are up to some super wild shit?
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Sure, sign me up. Let's get weird. Derp with Kerp is sort of tongue-in-cheek too, obviously. He's calling his own show Derp with Kerp. He isn't over-the-top serious about everything. fits in with the same thing I'm trying to do here, but I talk about fish and fly tying sometimes. He doesn't do that. He'll probably offend some people, he'll make some of you laugh, he'll definitely jump wildly from topic to topic and get off on some weird tangents about real obscure conspiracies and high strangeness stuff. Kurt seems to think that everything is fake, nothing is real. Sometimes that's what living in our current world feels like, right? We can barely tell what's real or AI anymore. Anyways, check out Derp with Kerp on YouTube and tune in to the last few episodes of Season 4 of my show to hear me interview Mitch from Mitch's Fly Bench, Mr. Squimpish Dave Nelson, and potentially one other mystery guest, and hopefully I will wrap up the season with another episode with my pal The Worm. Thanks again to Derek for being my guest, and to all of you for listening. Goodbye.
There's a monolith there, a very unusual structure on this little potato-shaped object that goes around Mars once in 7 hours. When people find out about that, they're going to say, who put that there? Who put that there?
If you're like me, you've got a deep hunger within you, a deep hunger for food, for a special food that you can't find just any old where. This is a food that you crave night and day. It's a forbidden fruit that's not made out of fruit at all. That's right, I'm talking about meat. Human meat. Sure, you can purchase and consume human flesh in roundabout ways. We all know that up to 20% of the matter in IKEA's Swedish meatballs is human beef, and we know that Arby's used to sell exclusively human rump meat. But it's no fun when they lie and say that it's not from a person. We crave the succulent, salty taste of human steaks, and now, thanks to the gourmet chefs at Vital Elements, you can get fresh human fillets delivered right to your door. Vital Elements has just unveiled their finest direct-to-consumer business, and that is, of course, human meat delivery. Thanks to an unbelievable government loophole, Vital Elements was able to start a huge farm in New Jersey where they raise humans strictly for their undeniably great-tasting muscle. Let's see if the Secret Society of Fly Tyers airs this ad. I feel like this might be too much for them. I'm talking about raising and slaughtering people for food. These USDA prime human steaks are delivered to anywhere in the continental United States within 48 hours, guaranteeing you fresh organic meat at unbelievably low prices. How are these prices so low? That's none of your business. Just thank your lucky stars and lick your lucky lips, because you'll be hooked on the unique porky flavor of human beings after your first delivery from Vital Elements Meat Master Delivery. That's what they're calling this, Meat Master Delivery. I don't know why they don't put the word human in there. If it were my business, I wouldn't be able to shut up about the incredible selection of human flesh we offer. I can hardly shut up about it now. My favorite thing I've ordered from Vital Elements Meat Master Delivery, and I've tried a lot, are the Rocky Mountain oysters. We all know what those are, right? They're testicles, and they're delicious. My preferred method for preparing these savory orbs is to batter and deep fry them in hot fat. Then I dip them in the complimentary dipping sauce, which is, you guessed it, human sperm. The chefs at Vital Elements remove every single sperm from each nard before they flash freeze it, pack it, and send it your way. But they don't discard this incredibly unctuous fluid. They include it free of charge when you order 10 or more nards at a time. Let me tell you, there's nothing like dipping a piping hot, freshly fried nard into a cup of semen that used to be inside of that very same nard. Also, you can drink any remaining semen after you finish eating your fried nards as a delightful digestif. Oh boy. I love eating human I love eating human flesh and drinking human fluids, and you will too once you've done the right thing and signed up for Vital Elements Meat Master Delivery Service. They've got steaks, rump roasts, human hocks, tenderloins, giblets, ribs, haunches, tongues, and all sorts of guts and bones for you to try. There was something else I wanted to say and I couldn't remember, but I do now. I make my wife and children eat human meat. I feed this to them and I don't tell them what it is. I just tell them that they've got to eat it if they want dinner. There ain't no other dinner than the one I prepare for them, and they're not allowed to leave the property without my supervision. So there's no way they're going to a restaurant or a grocery store themselves. Also, I don't let any of them have any money, and we live way out in the middle of nowhere and none of them know how to drive. I'm sure they'd freak out if they knew I was feeding them people, but they don't know, and even if they did, I don't care. Daddy makes the rules. I bet the host of this show just bleeped a word in that last sentence because he's a coward. Whatever, I don't care. I'm getting hungry. I'm hungry for human limbs and torsos. Happy Halloween, everybody. I don't know when this episode's coming out, but happy Halloween regardless. Please note that this is not a real advertisement, and the company, brand, entity, or product mentioned in the preceding ad in no way endorses, agrees with, or knows about this podcast.